Every year, thousands of new entrepreneurs pour their savings into highly visible projects. They open trendy cafes, launch clothing brands, or buy restaurant franchises, looking for that opening day rush of social validation and Instagram photos. Then month 3 hits. The opening hype fades, the margins shrink, and the daily grind of fighting local competition takes over. The founder stops being an entrepreneur and becomes a high-stress operator tied to a cash register. Meanwhile, entirely out of the public eye, a different group of people are quietly depositing massive monthly profits. You won't see them pitching on reality TV or posing with supercars, and their operations look incredibly mundane. That boredom is their primary defense mechanism. Because these industries lack prestige and glamour, most aspiring founders ignore them entirely, which strips the market of fierce competition. If you are starting a business, you have to decide what you are actually optimizing for. Seeking social status often actively works against building real financial and operational freedom. Take 2 hypothetical founders, Karan and Mahesh. Both start out with a $50,000 budget, but they deploy that capital in opposite directions. Karan pours his money into aesthetics. He builds a premium cafe with imported machines and expensive lighting. He now relies entirely on acquiring new, individual customers every single day to cover his overhead with one-time, linear transactions. Mahesh takes his $50,000 and sets up a small office with a few employees. No ribbon cutting, no social media presence. He focuses entirely on securing B2B service contracts. 3 years later, Karan is still standing behind his counter waiting for foot traffic. Mahesh is spending a month in Goa with his family, while his corporate clients automatically send their payments. This chart maps out the exact difference in their strategies. On the horizontal axis, we have social status, and on the vertical, cash flow predictability. Karan built an aesthetic B2C business, high status, but incredibly low predictability. Mahesh built his operation on boring B2B contracts, zero status, but maximum predictability. The driving force here is recurring revenue. The true test of a business model isn't the profit margin on a single sale. It is the guaranteed frequency that the sale repeats itself. We can break these recurring glamorous operations, like commercial cleaning, large-scale laundry, or pest control for corporate spaces. Hospitals need spotless floors and sterile sheets. Hotels require daily pest control to avoid health inspections. These services function as essential infrastructure, meaning clients cannot simply cut them when the economy slows down. Your main job in this model is securing long-term commitments. You negotiate 1 to 2 year service contracts with property managers and corporate directors. This comparison matrix shows how the B2B infrastructure category actually functions. Look at the breakdown. Your primary input relies on labor and contracts, generating a highly predictable monthly revenue stream. But it exposes you to the vulnerability of intense personnel management. That is the major trade-off. You aren't sitting at a desk designing a product. You are running an operationally heavy business, managing blue-collar logistics and enforcing strict daily quality control. Your clients aren't paying you to mop floors. They are paying you to completely eliminate the tension of managing the facility themselves. The second category shifts away from human labor and focuses on high-traffic environments. This is the location and asset utilization model, covering vending machines, RO water ATMs, and heavy equipment rentals. Think about a construction firm needing a concrete cutter for a 10-day project. They don't want to buy an expensive tool outright. They pay a fraction of the cost for temporary access. In reality, you are monetizing convenience over ownership. To execute this, you deploy a high amount of upfront capital to purchase physical assets, and then aggressively negotiate for prime placement in corporate parks, hospitals, or transit hubs. Looking at our matrix again, Category 2 leverages capital and location. Instead of monthly retainers, it generates high-volume microtransactions. The main vulnerability here shifts entirely to asset maintenance and poor foot traffic. If you place an expensive vending machine in a dead corridor, you take a loss. The entire return on investment hinges on the precision of your location scouting. Your upfront capital does all the heavy lifting and creates a system that requires 0 employee salaries and 0 time off, but you have to secure the right geographic placement to unlock the cash flow. The final category moves away from physical constraints entirely. This is the digital efficiency model, heavily known as Software as a Service, or SaaS. Every business has a tedious, manual process. Gyms struggle with member renewals. Clinics waste hours on scheduling. Your objective is to build a digital tool that automates those exact administrative headaches. This graph plots out the financial advantage of solving those problems with software. The gray line represents a linear business model, where revenue fluctuates based on daily sales. The green line shows a SaaS contract model. Because the cost to duplicate the software for a second customer is essentially zero, the revenue compounds exponentially over time. That near-zero duplication cost allows software companies to achieve the highest possible profit margins in the market. You don't need a new factory or new inventory to serve 10,000 users instead of 10. Bringing back our comparison matrix, we can see the exact mechanics for Category 3. The primary input demands significant technical skill and time up front, yielding high-margin subscriptions. The vulnerability is customer churn and the endless requirement for software updates. You can scale infinitely without ever buying physical real estate, but you must deliver flawless technical execution, or your users will simply cancel their subscriptions. Whether you choose cleaning contracts, vending machines, or software, the underlying mechanism is identical. Wealth isn't generated by picking a specific industry. It is generated by structurally shifting away from one-time sales and securing recurring revenue. This flowchart maps out exactly how you should deploy your resources based on your current constraints. If you have capital ready but lack free time, you should bypass labor-heavy operations entirely and index into asset utilization. Buy the machines, place them in high-traffic zones, and let your money work passively. If you're a burned-out operator exhausted by the daily retail hustle, pivot your existing management skills into Category 1 or 3. Trade your reliance on hundreds of unpredictable daily customers for 10 to 15 rock-solid annual B2B contracts. And if you are a beginner drawn to the glamour of a grand opening, you have a hard choice to make. You can either chase the aesthetic validation of your peers, or you can build predictable, quiet cash flow. This 4-point checklist outlines a rigid 30-second filter for evaluating any future opportunity. Ask yourself, is the problem real? Is the demand continuous? Does the customer pay repeatedly? Can a system replace the owner? Applying these 4 criteria ruthlessly will automatically filter out 90% of the high-risk, low-reward business ideas that drain most founders' bank accounts. Smart entrepreneurs don't ask how much profit is sitting in a single transaction. They calculate exactly how many times that profit will repeat itself without them ever having to lift a finger.